you feeling today?
I'm feeling well. Such a nice group of people on a Friday afternoon.
Good looking folks in the audience. Thank you so much for being here once again so we can have a chat with you.
Yes.
So I have my handy dandy little notebook here.
Yes, you do.
So I wanted to let you know, I was not introduced to you as Apollo Creed. Can you believe that?
Well, I have so many names.
You do? But I know we're in Philly, so I'd be remiss if I didn't at least bring it up because Rocky is literally a thing. I'm originally from like South Texas, so when I came up here, I knew it was a thing, but I didn't know it was a cultural phenomenon the way that it is.
It is a cultural phenomenon in Philadelphia. It's a cultural phenomenon in South Texas. It's a cultural phenomenon all over the United States, all over North America, all over South America, all over Asia, all over Europe, all over Africa.
This is part of flex, ladies and gentlemen.
Rocky is a phenomenon.
This is a
And
major flex.
I forgot Australia.
Asia, Africa, North and South America, Antarctica, Australia, Europe too.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask a couple questions, guys, and if you already got people waiting. All right, let's go ahead and get to it. So, I was first introduced to you as Hampton Forbes of In the Heat of the Night because my granny had the biggest crush on you. She would be so proud of me if she could be here now.
Did you say your granny?
My granny.
She's granny like young men, didn't she?
Yes, she did, child. She absolutely did. She was like, that girl said the show is fun. So that was my introduction to you. I did see Rocky. Apollo Creed was a very huge personality, huge persona. So that kind of leads me into a question when it comes to your athletic background, because I was curious. You have been involved in athletics since middle school, correct? You were pro for 5 years. You were in the Canadian League. You were with the Raiders. So how did you bridge that gap between athletics and the arts? How did that happen?
There was no gap.
There was no gap.
No, I started playing football, organized football, when I was in 7th grade. Right? And at the same time, I'd done the first play I ever did when I was in 5th or 6th grade. And I continued and continued and continued. And at some point, there was I guess you could say, a separation in my endeavors because as a young man, and I think most of these guys out here can attest to the fact that most young ladies don't necessarily gravitate toward guys in tights spouting Shakespeare. Most of
some of us do.
Well, I said most. I didn't say all. I'm very careful here with my words. I have become very aware that we are in different times.
Yes, we are.
So, either wake up or stay asleep, whichever you want. But
learn better, do better.
There was a separation because girls like football players, and I was fairly athletic, and it just worked. It really, really worked. But eventually, when I went off to university, you have to choose a major, generally at some point, and I fell into theater again and acting. I literally fell into it, and I had some encouragement from a couple of instructors, and I liked it. I really liked theater, and I liked acting, and I got a degree in theater, and I had a football scholarship at San Diego State. Don Coryell, for those of you who might remember that name, great coach who went on and coached professionally, and then lo and behold, I was wound up with the Raiders. And I still wanted to be an actor, but Oakland is not necessarily the seat of filmmaking.
Not necessarily.
No, but San Francisco just across the bay.
Yeah.
So there I was again. And so that's kind of how it's been always intertwined.
So it was pretty much always a part of that path that you were on. You were like, look, I wasn't looking for it, but it's there, and I'm here, and I'm into it. And girls over here, but this is my passion over here, and this is a thing that I'm good at, and it just melded and married together eventually.
Well, I don't know that no matter what you're looking for, that it will necessarily work out. In many cases, I think it finds you. And in my case, I think that was pretty much it. I didn't.
It's Apollo Creed.
These things that were there, these opportunities, and and these different, I guess, required different skill sets, and I was just fortunate enough. God gave me some talent, I guess, but certainly gave me some desire. And, you know, as a result, there I was clamoring to, you know, become a part of both these industries. One is professional football, athletics, and the other is filmmaking.
We are very glad that that marriage happened because, honey, you impacted every single person who's in this room right now. We thank you for that.
Did I impact you?
Yes, Apollo!
Man here sitting in the front row saying, buddy, I wasn't impacted. I'm just here because my wife dragged me. I see it all over you, man. It's happened to me too, okay? So what can I say?
All right, everyone in the front row, please open your eyes very widely. Do not yawn. All right, so we're going to take one question at this time. Let's see. You over here. What's your question?
First of all, thank you so much for all of your contribution and amazing career. We talked about in the beginning about Rocky. What's it like for you to be part of something so huge to the point now, with the role you started with Apollo Creed, you have Michael B. Jordan with the Creed series. What's that like for you to go from like decade after decade and it's still relevant and powerful in 2022?
Oh, it's an interesting question because what is it like? Well, I don't have anything that I can actually compare it to because what is there to compare it to? I mean, I just do what I do, and I'm very fortunate that it's resonated with audiences around the world. It certainly resonated with American audiences. So, you know, the job, man, the job as an actor, for me anyway, is number one, to entertain you when you go to the movies that I'm involved with, and also as a creative person, it's to remain relevant. You know, how can I do things that I think make sense? If they make sense to me, and I can deliver a performance of them that I think will make sense to you, then I hope it will stand up forever. And you know, I've been fortunate that a lot of the projects I've been in people continue to like them, Rocky being one of them.
Did you realize it was going to be timeless when you shot it? Did you know that this was going to be like, oh my gosh, this is going to be epic?
Well,
You snuck that other question in there, huh? I'm watching. It's okay.
I'll give you an anecdote, and this is absolute God's truth. Out of the mouths of babes, you know, come these statements sometimes, and you can only look at them and shake your head and go, oh my God, what does he know? But I told someone when we were making the picture that I thought it was going to be as big as Jaws, and they laughed at me. And you know what? I can understand now why they did, because what a statement. But I was sitting on the set of Streets of San Francisco after I did Rocky, and it had come out. And I was doing an episode of Streets, because I did all those shows, you know, Quentin Martin shows. And a young guy was walking up while I was in the makeup chair, and he walked up and told me how much he loved Rocky, and he saw it, and it was all that sort of stuff. And thank you, and he said, you know, I just finished a little movie, I think it's going to be as big as Rocky. And this is true, I just thought to myself, yeah, right. That guy was Mark Hamill, and he just finished Star Wars.
Oh, how the tables have turned.
Out of the mouths of babes, you just never know, man. You know, you just have a feeling, and I had a feeling it was going to be that big, but I didn't. I mean, we're talking, good God, 76 when we made it. It was released in 77. Pretty soon it'll be 50 years at least, right?
You've been relevant
I've been
for 5 decades.
around for a while.
Yes, sir.
My body's telling me I've been around. Feeling.
Timeless icon. All right, so I'm thinking since we are talking about Star Wars now, let's go ahead and get into the main reason why you're here, which is The Mandalorian, right?
Is that the main reason I'm here?
Main reason.
Really?
You know, like what they put on the advertisement. Hey, it's
I
Chris Carter.
thought I was here because I'm such a phenomenal actor that people just can't stay away from me.
Yeah! Apollo!
That it's Mandalorian or Happy Gilmore or Rocky or Fred. Come on!
Yeah!
Okay, so that segue was a buzz, but thank you.
No, come on, I'm just teasing.
No, okay, so I remember you saying once
so cool. This is so cool. It's like,
That's a really complicated question. It really is. Because for this particular person, all of the aspects of humanity that you can imagine, or that you've experienced, or that you yourself live, when those aspects are in a character, greed, jealousy, unfortunately at times hatred, tremendous joy, sadness, humor. If you can find those things in a character, then people can relate to it because we all experience those same things at one point in our lives. Whether we're the ones who are acting it out or it's being acted out in our presence. And so when a character is written really well, and you have those facets within the story of that character and within the story of whatever the overarching story is, you have a chance for success, I believe. Now it has to all be executed really well, you know?
Absolutely.
Because
It's
without
John Favreau.
execution, doesn't matter. The words on the page are just words on the page. You have to then have the actors who can, quote unquote, act it out. But you need a director who can really guide the project and guide those actors, and a cinematographer who can put the camera in the right place at the right time with the right lens and capture it on film. And of course, you need all those people who are support people, you know, the entire crew, and the makeup person, and the hair person. It just goes on and on and on.
So it takes a village, essentially.
In movies, it takes hundreds of people, you know. And so, you know, with The Mandalorian, to get to your question, when I read the original material, there was just something in the way that Jon Favreau had executed that character in that setting that I thought, oh, there's a chance here to, you know, do something in a way that I haven't done with a character who is, you know, this fictionalized character in a galaxy far away and all that stuff. And of course, in the realm of Star Wars, which already has such a following, you've got an opportunity, you know, at least to put wood on the ball. You may not hit a home run, but you can at least get a hit, you know, maybe get on base. And so in looking at all that and judging it, and then the talent, you know, Jon Favreau, the creator of this thing, and Dave Filoni, who was the right hand of George Lucas for so many years, and obviously still involved with Lucas. And then you've got George himself, who has left this mythology with us all. It's like, man, if you're gonna take a shot at something, take a shot with this one. So, you know, it was kind of a no-brainer. Yes, please, as the British would say.
To come full circle from a young Mark Hamill saying, you know what, I'll be where you're at one day. And now he is also, well, two names. Luke, I am your father, and
Yes.
who else, guys? Thank you, Joker. He is the Joker voice. All right, so let's go to one question from the audience. We're gonna go ahead and go to the right side, my right to your left. Go ahead, ma'am.
Hi, I'm going to transition back to Rocky, sorry.
Big sorry, no apologies necessary.
So, I just wanted to know what your thoughts were on Sly's new Rocky IV director's cut, if you've seen it, what you think anything.
Oh, she's being specific. Okay.
Well, good question. I haven't seen it. I'm sure it's fantastic because I've heard so. I mean, I don't see everything that comes out. It's like, man. But you know, I have heard from people that they really love it, and there's stuff in there that wasn't in the original Rocky. So I can only imagine that it's done well as they can put it together. You know, they're not gonna do a half-assed job because the brand is such a remarkable brand, and why mess it up, you know? So if you liked it, did you?
I did like it. I
There you
actually
go.
drove all the way across Florida to see it with my dad.
Well, fantastic. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, honey. All right, let's take one more from the audience, sir. I've been waiting to hear from you because that outfit
the same thing, basically. The man looks like he just walked out of the islands.
And I need that hat.
I love it.
It might accidentally disappear later. Don't look at me though. All right, what's your question, darling?
Thank you very much. My question is about Rocky. Whenever you read the script for the first Rocky film, did you agree with the ending, or do you think it should have had a different outcome?
Okay, the first Rocky.
Good question.
So what was the ending?
So the ending where Apollo Creed ends up winning the final fight, do you believe Rocky should have actually won, or do you agree with the ending?
Can we get rid of this guy now? His wardrobe.
Leave the hat.
How dare you? Apollo Creed won, and do I disagree with that? Come on, man.
I want that fair and square.
By the way, I'm going to tell you something about the ending. I think probably some people know this in this audience. The original ending, actually, was Apollo Creed being carried out on the shoulders of people while they were chanting, Apollo, Apollo, Apollo. And the ending was changed, as was some of the movie, because it became a different story with Rocky as an underdog. And so it became more of a love story with he and Adrian, with Adrian running into the ring and embracing him and saying, we did it, yo Adrian, all of that stuff. So I don't disagree with either ending.
Right.
Apollo still won, split decision, but he won.
I really didn't mean any disrespect. I apologize.
I know that, I was teasing you, man, come on.
Come on, guy. He's been doing that ever since he got up here. All right, thank you so much for your question, Mr. Shark Suit.
By the way, at this point, man, there's about nothing that anybody's gonna say that's gonna really surprise me. It's been how many years that I've heard about Rocky from everybody who could talk, and even those who couldn't talk, okay? So, hey man, your question was appreciated, so are you. Thank you.
Everybody give a round of applause for the man with the shark suit.
Yes, yes.
Thank y'all. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of circle back to Star Wars just to kind of give you
Oh, but you want to get away from Rocky, don't you? Okay.
I don't know if I get
Come
away
on,
from it. I just want to give you, some flavor, some variety,
Thank
if
you.
you will. Okay,
Thank you.
so the lore of Star Wars is rich. There is literally something for everyone, and that's why it is such a timeless type of franchise and fandom. So what about the lore got you on like a fundamentally human-like level? What speaks to you about that whole franchise, the whole saga, everything?
Well, and that's a good question. For me personally, it's not about the lore. It's not about the mythology necessarily.
And revolution.
What it's about is how relatable the quest is. How relatable the quest is for each of us. Because, movies in their own way, like any good stories, when we're sitting around the fire, I'm sure, telling stories, there was a point to the story. You're trying to convey something to the people that are listening. And if you're trying to scare them, Little Red Riding Hood and the Big Wolf, there's a reason. There's something they're telling you to be cautious about. If it's, Othello, Shakespeare, there's something you're being told about relationships and about jealousy and how it can cause somebody to go mad and do crazy things. With The Mandalorian, in particular, you've got these characters who initially seem to be about, at least Grief Karga was about, the character that I play is this head of the Bounty Hunters Guild, and is a mercenary kind of guy. It's about sending people out to do a deed and he's gonna get paid. That's what it was about. But for me, with most of the things I've done, that's the surface. Under the surface, what do you find out about a character? What do you find out about a human being? What can you find out about yourself in your quest, whatever it is? There are ways in which you can go about that and make that journey and find out things about yourself, about your level of despair as an example, why you're doing that, or your level of commitment to finishing a task, or what you're willing to sacrifice to finish a task, or how low you're willing to go to finish a task. So there's in all these stories, there are lessons for us all. You know, you can find a bit of yourself in that, or see your friends or your family in it, and maybe learn at the end, you know, of it. Was it worth selling your soul to get that thing accomplished, or was the sacrifice one where this task was worthy of that kind of sacrifice?
It's worth it.
So, you know, in The Mandalorian, I think when you look through it, all of that, and then of course you've got this cute little thing, this baby, Grogu. And Grogu is kind of the center of it all. He brings us all together.
Big Rocco. How cool. You like
And Grogu is on his journey. His or her journey, because in truth.
How cool is this dog?
Their journey.
Their journey. His, her, their, whatever. But in that journey, Grogu is learning. Grogu is being taught. Grogu is remembering. Grogu is growing. And so the thing is, in the entertainment of it all, there are still things to learn. That's what interests me. That's what interests me in everything I do. What am I going to say? What am I endorsing by being a part of this? You know, I said something about 1,000,000 years ago, and it was about, you know, just what I do and why I do it and why I don't do certain things. And this probably will come back to haunt me from somebody in this audience. But I, you know, basically was saying, I don't want to do anything where my sons, either of them, will ask me, Pop, why did you do that? So what I represent, I want to be proud of. I want my sons to look at it and see that, oh wow, there's a lesson in that. What my dad was really doing was, you know, basically sending out his form of propaganda, you know, while entertaining.
So in a way, every project that you have been a part of, every role that you've taken has helped you to discover something new about yourself.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, in the doing is the discovery.
So you know a lot about yourself, huh?
I know too much about it. It's frightening. It's frightening at this point. But it also means I know a lot about you.
Please don't say that to these people over there.
Yep.
All right, so I'm thinking we can take another question or two from the audience. So let's go ahead. I think we ended over here, so let's go over to you, Mama. Go ahead.
Hi, Mr. Weathers. It's an honor to be able to speak with you. My dad's going to be jealous, so.
Hi,
Jealous
Dad.
Adler.
Hi, Dad.
I want to continue on the question that you were actually asking him. You've had such a long and successful career, and you've played so many different characters and been in so many different films and television projects. Which character or story has impacted you the most?
Well, you take one of my questions, ma'am. All right. I need you to sit down. No,
You were looking at her cheat sheet is what you were doing. What's impacted me the most? Wow. You know, I wish I could say there was one that has. They all have something in them that impacts, you know? I probably wouldn't have done them if they didn't. And a part of the job, in a way, is like, you know, and this is a terrible analogy, but it's like being a coal miner, you know? Or a better analogy is a diamond miner. You know, you're looking for that really big, unbelievable diamond. Yeah, you'll find a lot of small ones along the way, but somehow you're trying to find that big one that's the big reveal about, quote unquote, as Monty Python says, the meaning of life, you know? And generally, you're not gonna find that, but I think in every artist's quest, I'd like to think of actors as artists, filmmakers as artists, you're searching for that thing in these parts, in these roles, in the work that you do. And the searching is the thing that impacts you more than the finding. Because movies are a little different than doing a play. play, you get to do basically the same play every night, maybe except one, and then on Sundays, maybe twice you do it. So you have this opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to find stuff in there. With a movie, I don't care what the shooting schedule is, let's say it's 3 months, you don't repeat the scenes, you get it done and then you move on to another. So you're just constantly sort of trying to unearth stuff, but it's different in a way. And so you're impacted by the process more than you are the result, if that makes any sense to you.
So would you say that the process or that searching for that diamond is what has led to the longevity of your career?
Yes, that's the question of the day. Yes, digging. I'm an excavator. Okay, that's the new title. Forget actor. I'm an excavator.
I like that. Thank you so much for your question. That was fantastic. Thank you. Round of applause for our audience questions. We're going to take one more at this time. Mr. Man with the hat over in the front. What's your question, darling?
Post this on YouTube.
I just want to say thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
Mine is a little bit simple.
If you want to check it out.
A simple question, yeah.
Simple.
Did you take anything from the Mando set, and what was it?
Wow. Do you really think I'm going to tell you that so they come after me? Come on, man. Man, oh man. Did I take anything? What did I take? I took food, lots of times. I take it home, put it in a pot, pour a little broth in there, I get a stew going. Anybody can relate to that? There you go, there's a Happy Gilmore fan. I mean, Arrested Development fan, sorry about that. Not really. We're still making them. I gotta wait till the end so that they can't come after me. No, not really. What am I gonna take, A pen?
I mean, you got shot. You didn't keep that Beskar?
No, I haven't kept any Beskar. I actually should have, because there were pieces around. That's a good question. We just finished season 3, so before you know it, you're gonna see more Mandalorian. But if we get a season 4 and I'm asked back, maybe I will cop some Beskar. That's a good suggestion, by the way. I thank you for that. Thank you.
Thank you for your question, my good sir.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you.
All right, so I have a quick little tidbit. This is like a random piece of information that not a lot of people knew when I talked to them about it, right?
Oh, here we go. Yes.
Tell me about Action Jackson and the Pointer Sisters in 1980.
Yeah.
Because I watched that video, honey. That video was everything. So I want your thoughts on it. Because the 80s were that really, I am not, I wasn't living, but I am a student of the 80s. Okay? I was born in 90s. I'm a 90s baby.
There you go. Okay.
However, when I was doing my due diligence, I remember seeing you and not realizing that was Chief Marks. So tell me how that came about, and did you have a lot of fun? Because it looked like y'all were having fun.
Now, what are we talking about? We're talking about
She Turned Me Out, the music video.
Okay, well,
I'm sorry,
first of all, for those of you who remember the Pointer Sisters, they were hotter than hot back in the day. And they were from Oaktown. They were from Oakland, okay? Yeah. And unbelievably talented group of ladies, sisters. Man, they were on fire for more than a minute. The video obviously came about because of the producers, Joel Silver, and Joel had a way of pulling people in, myself included. And that's really the story, They were sweet though, they were absolutely sweet. But let's face it, the Action Jackson had a little bit of
Swag.
a little bit of
Swag.
just a little bit. And then we had the great Vanity in it, added a little smoke and fire, So come on, you had to have a little heat from the Pointer Sisters in there.
This is true.
Yes.
I just wanted to know because I was like, wait, that's who that was? Oh my God.
Yeah.
So that was my random little tidbit. So let's go ahead and get back to the audience just to make sure
Yes.
that we have everybody. Okay. So, use
what I really thought your question was going to be was, how did it feel for them to work with me? That's what I thought your question
Yeah.
But I guess I misheard. Anyway, look, man, we had a great time. We were all just young and vigorous and chomping at the bit to one-up each other, and all in the gym constantly, you know. Great memories, absolutely great memories. And, you know, it's really fortunate to just be the right guy at the right place at the right time. Really, really fortunate, because in either case, there were so many actors who would have given their bank accounts, however much they had, just to be in those movies, let alone to be remembered when you're standing next to those guys, you know, and to have people really appreciate the performance when you're standing next to those guys, and also be so complimentary of the performance that was given, you know. So it was a great time for me, that's for sure, and has been really instrumental in whatever longevity that's occurred as a result of those. So, good question, man. I had a good time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you. All right, Mommy, you've been chomping at the bit over there. Come on with your question. I know it's good.
Hello, Mr. Withers. I got a press pass to come see you for this particular question.
Yes.
Why is it Action Jackson wasn't a long-term series? The movie was phenomenal. I'm not here to ask you Rocky questions. I'm not here to ask you, man, is Action Jackson?
He's on a mission.
Why there's no series? I need a series.
Okay, I asked the same question years ago because I thought there was an opportunity. By the way, to toot my own horn here, I actually created the idea for Action Jackson. We were doing Predator, and Joel Silver, the producer of Predator, who was also the producer of Action Jackson, loved blaxploitation movies. And of course, you know some of the movies he made. Jesus was some of the biggest stars in the world. Joel and I were talking, as we did on the set down in Puerto Vallarta shooting Predator, and he was talking about the movies he loved, and he liked some of those movies, and he said, you know, you ought to write something. And I said, okay, and I would, you know, sit there day after day messing with the idea, and came up with this thing called Nothing at the time, but about this cop. And one day, we had, on Predator, we had a crew that consisted of Australians, which was, our DP was Australian, and a lot of people who were around the camera were Australian, the gaffers and that such. We had Mexicans, because we were shooting in Mexico, and we had Americans. And one day, and I love the camera crew, because actors, you want to know those people, because they're the ones in your face all the time, with a lens. And one day, one of the guys was telling a story, as guys do, and he said, I was in like Action Jackson. There's the title, Action Jackson. And I'd never heard the phrase before, you know, but it made sense to me. And so I handed it to Joel, and Joel went off and found this writer named Rob Renaud, who was a friend of Shane Black's, who wrote Lethal Weapon, and who was one of the guys in the movie. And Shane wrote Rob Renaud wrote the screenplay, and within, I think, 11 months from the day we finished Predator, we were shooting Action Jackson. But in answer to your question, too many people involved who want too much money, and it just ain't gonna get made that way. So that's why I never went beyond that. Thank you for the question, yeah.
Thank you so much for your question. And I actually have a follow-up to that. If they were to ever reboot it or remake it, would you want to be a part of that as a writer or director or anything like that?
I would love to be. In fact, somebody came to me within the last 6 months with an idea. And because we were shooting Mandalorian and there was other stuff going on, it was like, Right now, I don't have time to dive into it, but the idea I think is a really good idea. So hopefully in a short amount of time, we'll get to it and see if we can get some traction.
You heard it here first, guys. We might be getting a reboot. That's awesome. Okay, so I have a couple of true or false questions that I want to ask you.
True or false? Here we go. Here comes the game. Let me get ready.
Here comes the game. So, true or false? Was Apollo Creed going to come back as a ghost in Creed 2?
Ah, yeah.
I have no idea.
You have no idea?
None.
No insight or anything?
I'm telling you, gospel, no idea. As a ghost? Wait a minute, hold on now. I have a son that I never knew about. It's Apollo Creed. How did that happen? Was there immaculate conception? Because I don't remember having an affair.
Yeah, that was a whole affair.
I don't remember Apollo having an affair at all. But okay, all right, okay. And now I'm gonna come back as a ghost? Boy, that Apollo gets around, doesn't he? Yep, I don't have no clue about that.
Okay, well, cross that off my list. All right. So is it true or false that your voiceover in Mortal Kombat in 2015 as Jax is that homage to Al Dillon from Predator?
You really did dig, didn't you?
Jax,
The answer is true. True. There you go.
I can't find my pen, so I'm writing in my imagination.
Yes, there you are. I've done a lot of voiceover for different projects.
Yes, you were in Toy Story, you did Jax, you were in Balto 3, which I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yes.
What was your favorite voiceover job?
My favorite voiceover. I'll tell you my favorite. Well, it was voiceover, but it wasn't. There is a story about a man named Tio Atala Saladel who was on slow death row, who died on slow death row. And there was a book, and then subsequently there was the audio book, and I did the Tio Atala Saladel part of that, where he was an avid writer. He's a fascinating man. I never met him. But through his writing letters, he corresponded with a number of people, including Howard Zinn while he was on slow death row, and some really stellar personalities and people who were, I guess, in tune with who he was and how he eventually wound up living his life. And so this book is about letters, and he and someone I know were in correspondence for, my God, maybe 18 years, and lots of letters back and forth. And so I read Tio's letters in this audio, and it's one of the favorite things I've done, because through his letters you got a chance to see, for lack of a better word, into his character and what his concerns were. He was a jazz musician, accomplished. He was a teacher. He helped a lot of inmates get their GED or their whatever the degree was. He was a peacemaker when he was on death row, and he and one of the wardens struck up a relationship, and the warden really became an advocate, and Tio became an advocate against basically the abolition of prisons. So that has meaning. I mean, not that some of this other stuff is not, but it's basically entertainment.
It's real life, though.
Yeah, but it's real, and it was about something that that is dear to me, and whether or not we know it, it affects us all. Because whether or not we agree, putting people to death is murder. And okay, we can justify it by saying he or she deserved it, but it's still murder. And is that something that somehow makes things better? I'm not so sure about that. I'm just not sure about that. crime is crime, but murder is murder, whether it's state-sanctioned murder or, we walk out the door and somebody murders us. So it's heavy stuff, but, that
That
answers
was
your
exactly
question.
where I was like, yo, that got heavy real fast. Okay. So
You know what? Life is heavy, okay? There's entertainment and there's life. And fortunately, I am involved in both. So
reality and fantasy. All right. So we only have a little bit of time left, guys. So we're going to get to as many audience questions as we can, and then I'm going to wrap this up with a thank you. So we left off on this side, so let's go ahead and pop over to here.
And I'll do my best to be brief.
I'm sorry.
I'll do my best to be brief.
Oh, well, I wasn't going to tell the great Carl Weathers to be brief on anything, but I'm glad that you caught that social cue.
I'll be brief.
He read the room, guys. Isn't he wonderful? All right, Mr. Steampunk, what's your question?
Thank you. My name's Kevin, and your work has meant so much to me. I especially love the first Rocky movie. It's been like one of my favorite movies of all time. My whole family is just incredible fans. One thing I wanted to mention, a lot of my family is from Philly, and I wanted to get an understanding of what was it like being able to shoot Rocky in the famous streets of Philadelphia? Was that a little
Well, I'll be really brief. The first Rocky, I never made it to Philadelphia. I was never in Philadelphia for one day. The magic of movies. Ta-da! People in Philadelphia have been kind to me no matter where I've met them. And of course, I've met people outside of Philadelphia. So I've gotten a lot of love from Philly, even when they love me in a hateful way. I still get it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks for the question, man.
Thank you so much. All right, let's go on over here. We got a few people. Are you Dr. Strange?
Yes, I am.
All right, Dr. Strange. What's going on? What's your question?
Thank you so much. Hi, Mr. Weathers. Name is Steve. That's my actual name. I'm not just doing the character here. My question is that seeing as how that you're an actor that has a very, very long career behind him, both doing work in front of the camera and behind, and correct me if I'm wrong, you did direct an episode in season 2 of Mandalorian, right?
Yes, and I just finished directing an episode in season 3.
Very nice. So my question is, seeing as how you've done pretty much both, which is really your preference? Doing the magic in front of the camera or going from behind?
Well, at this point, I love being behind the camera. There it is.
Behind the camera.
There it is.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Steven. All right, come on, guys. Maybe one more question, then we got to wrap it up. I'm so sorry, everybody.
Hey, Carl, aside from your acting, speaking of voice acting, I really think you want Star Wars: The Forces of Evil as the villain. So the series started off as like a fun, cute little series, and then it was more mysterious, more dramatic. How did they go about changing the series all of a sudden, and then how did they go about pitching you, and what was your overall approach to kind of being on the more dramatic side of the series and the whole time of it?
Man, that's a hell of a question. That's a life to answer that
I should have
question.
called on you at the beginning.
Let me just tell you this. I enjoyed being a part of it. That's really it. You know, they don't do much consulting after you buy in and you go with it. Then it's you get in there and you just do the lines, man, and you try to have a conversation. If it doesn't make sense, if it doesn't make sense, you just do it. But I enjoyed it, and I hope you did.
I certainly did. It was a great series. Thank you.
Fantastic, thanks.
All right.
One more, come on, let's get these people.
Can we get one more question? I'm sorry, guys. Let's get one more.
Mr. Weathers, you're the man in Predator, one of my all-time favorite sci-fi movies. So, I consider you a godfather of the acting world in sci-fi. You get to make one movie. It's completely your own. Are you an antagonist or protagonist, and what's the setting?
Nice question.
Wow. That's a, sheesh, you've been thinking, man. Well, if you've watched the movies I've been in, somehow the beginning of whoever my character is seems to be the antagonist or the anti-hero. And somehow what you find out about this guy is, I like him. He ain't that bad. In fact, I like him a lot. That's kind of the way we all are in real life. There is no all black, all white. There are all these gradations in between, and I don't care who you are, if you're married to them, if you just have them as a friend, if you have them as an enemy. I guarantee you, if you looked a little deeper, they're an enemy, there are things about that person that say, man, I wouldn't go down that road for a million years and $1 million, you know? So for me, I want a character who has some depth, and depth requires an awful lot, both sides, all kinds of shades.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we are wrapping it up.
Sorry for the last two.
Yes, I'm so sorry, guys. We try to get to you.
Come over and visit us where we're signing autographs and ask a question here, and I'll answer. Okay?
Yes, please go see him so he can get your questions. I'm sure they're excellent. I'm so sorry once again.
They're kicking me out of here. What can I say?
There's a schedule to keep everyone.
A schedule?
A schedule.
Oh my goodness. She's become such a Brit all of a sudden. So here's my question. I have a question.
You have a question.
If it's schedule, why is it school and not shul?
Yes!
Ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Mr.
Philly loves you, Carl!
Thank you.
All right, everyone, sit tight for the next panel coming up on stage. Please, once again, keep in mind, be respectful, and thank y'all for nerding out with us. Head Nerds in Charge in Philadelphia, please go check us out on all platforms. Thank you.
Awesome, thanks.
Guys, how cool was that? Was it so cool? Guys, what do you think? Was that amazing? Tony, what was your favorite thing about the speech? That was awesome. Oh yeah, my hand's killing me, but no, I had to take the whole thing. That was awesome. Having Apollo come to our city here in Philly, to our convention center. So cool. All right, we're gonna go get a picture taken with him at 7:40. So what do you think of Apollo? Good speech?
Yeah, it was a good speech. This is a recording.
Is this recording?
Yeah, it was a good speech. Okay, I'm ready for a nap. Let's go.
Are you ready for a nap?
Oh, that one? And this one would be, oh, I can wait, yeah. All right. Mr. Waters, it was such an honor to meet you. we are such big Apollo Creed fans, Rocky fans. Every day, literally every day before they go to bed, they can't go to bed without watching a clip from one of the Rocky movies. Sure. You're in it 80% of the time.
Oh, okay. I'll take that one with gratitude. Well, thank you very much.
Oh, you too? You too?
Well, thank you again. I appreciate that.
We rehearsed that for 2 months.
Yeah.
So it took a lot of courage.
I gotta tell you, that's well done.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh my goodness. I tell you, Sly was great, but if you were not cast as Apollo, that movie would not have taken off the way it did. You were perfect. I mean, just
thank you.
The coolest guy, right? Right, guys? Apollo, Eye of the Tiger. I know, isn't it? Oh my gosh.
Well, you are.
Mr. Weathers, thank you so much. Seriously, your character means so much to us.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Really, thank you so much. Guys, say thank you.
All
Apollo.
right, guys. Thank you. Thank
You're the
you.
man.
See you
Thank
later.
you. How great is that? Was that amazing or what?